Hello and good morning, MYM Insiders. How's everybody doing today? This is Rich Harshaw, and we are here for our Tuesday morning ad clinic. And if I am not mistaken, this is our last ad clinic that we'll be having for a couple of weeks. I'll be on my customary annual 4th of July vacation starting next week, so we won't be with you then. But I do wish you a happy holiday. And I think I'll be gone the next week too, but we'll be with you the week after that. So we've got a lot of submissions today, I think in anticipation of being off for a couple of weeks. So we're going to start, let's see, we're going to start with whoever's here and ready. And I am seeing that we do not have our first submitter here, so let's see if our second submitter is here. Let's see. Okay, there's Chip just now dialing in. We'll wait for him for just a second. The order that we'll go today is Chip Marvin from Freelight Windows and Skylights in Arizona. Then we will move to Christian Brogdon from Holco, and I see you there, Christian, so thank you for being here. Chip, I see that you are on a voice over IP. I'll attempt to unmute you. If that causes problems, we might have you call in via telephone. Chip, can you hear me? Well, Chip, if you can hear me, we cannot hear you. And okay, I see your hand up. You'll need to type in something via the typing thing. Questions. Okay, I see that you can hear me. Chip, what you're really going to need to do is dial in via telephone. That's the best way for you to hear me. Somehow your voice over IP is not connecting properly. It's a very common situation. I'll tell you what, we're going to move to number 2 while you sort that out, if you don't mind, and we'll come right back to you afterwards. But we'll move on to number 2, which is Christian. And Christian, I've just unmuted you, so you should be there and live. Are you ready?
Yes, good morning.
How you doing?
Doing well. Good to be here.
Okay, well, let's talk about what you've got to talk about. What's on your mind today? Sounds like we've got some flyers.
No, I have a commercial.
Oh, radio.
Radio commercial spots.
Radio. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you were actually number 3. I was a little bit confused. Oh, you're jumping way up in the line there, but that's okay. We'll get back to the others here shortly. Let me pull up those radio ads. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull these over onto the screen. Tell me when you can see them on your screen.
I can see them now.
Okay, I'm going to make them a little bit bigger so that it's easier to read. All right, I remember this now. The Buddy. Hey, Buddy.
Yes.
What's happening, Buddy? Okay, tell me what's going on with these. Anything in particular that I need to know, or should we just dive in and read them and see what we think?
Well, basically, we submitted one earlier a few weeks ago, and it covered a lot of different things. So these I tried to narrow down, and I just wanted to see if I was on the right track to keep moving and putting other more focused commercials together, and just wanted your opinion on how the more narrowed, focused commercials are as opposed to what we did before, which covered too many topics.
Okay. So the first one is clearly talking about being pushy, dishonest, inconsiderate, relies on sneaky business practices. Holco will give you a free, no obligation, no pressure in-home consultation. A written quote for your prospective job will show up on time every time. Treat your home with care and respect it deserves. We offer a variety of energy-efficient, top-quality options to fit your needs. Your home needs windows, doors, siding, a roof, sunroom. Call holco.com. Click, call. I assume you're going to put a phone number in there. Is that right?
No, callholco.com is our website address. So.
Oh, well, that's not to get hung up on that little detail before we even really get into this, but it is a little confusing. Click, callholco.com. That just sounds kind of odd.
Okay.
How about to make it more clear, visit us online at callholco.com. I just think it's a little bit confusing when they hear the word call in the URL, that they might go, what?
Well,
I don't know. Have you had any issues with that?
No, mainly because that's been our website URL address for many, many, many years. So people are familiar with the callholco.com.
I would amend what you just said to the people that are familiar with it are familiar with it. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are not, simply because they're not paying any attention to your ads, for the same reason that people without teenage kids don't listen to ads for orthodontists.
Right.
And then when
they
so then when they become aware of this commercial because they have a need, then I just find that to be a little bit odd. That's all. Not a big deal. We don't need to, spend 5 minutes on that, but just as an interesting point. So let's take a look at this first ad a little bit more carefully. When you're choosing the right company to work on your home, make sure you don't settle for anyone that's pushy, dishonest. Now, one of the things that I don't know, I do know that your company has been around. It's fairly well known. You say up here, when you're choosing the right company to do work on your home, I'm not 100% sure that people know what kind of work you're talking about. I mean, there's lots of kinds of work that you can do on a home. In the context of hearing this ad multiple times, that probably becomes not much of an issue. I obviously see that you have it at the end of the ad, but you may want to consider throwing those things up to the top of the ad. Hey, buddy, Matt Hollander here. When you're considering a company for windows, siding, doors, roofs, or sunroom, blah, 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 just to make sure that they understand that may be worthwhile. Let's see what you've got in here. Pushy, dishonest, inconsiderate, relies on sneaky business practices. Holco will give you a free, no obligation, no pressure in-home consultation. I mean, I like this. It's in the sense that it is focused and it kind of hones in on this one thing. I don't think it's said in a particularly interesting kind of a way. So I'm giving you props for saying, yeah, you've done what we talked about last time. It is focused. It is concentrated on one particular issue. We may want to find more interesting ways to say it. This sounds very straightforward announcery, which is okay, but maybe there's more interesting ways to say it. Let's think of it. Let's think of some ways, okay?
Okay.
Hey, buddy, Matt Hollander here. When you're thinking about a company for windows, doors, siding, roof, sunrooms, one thing you want to watch out for is companies that I'm just trying to be more conversational, okay?
Okay.
One thing you might want to watch out for are these pushy, dishonest, inconsiderate companies. The ones that give home improvement companies a bad name. Now, not all companies are like that. In fact, at Holco, we'll always give you free, no obligation, no pressure, in-home consultation, no arm twisting. You see where I'm going with this? Just a little more conversational.
Right. The content is good, but the presentation is lacking.
Well, I don't even know that it's lacking. I think it's adequate. I think it would benefit from being more conversational.
Okay.
I always like conversational because it draws people in, because they're drawn into conversation, but they're not drawn into announcements that are clearly commercial announcements. So, especially with this, hey, buddy, it automatically sets the tone for super conversational, right?
Yes.
I mean, you've branded yourself as an informal, non-threatening, easy to talk to, conversational company. That's what this whole hey buddy thing is all about. Because you would only ever say hey buddy to somebody in a very informal, conversational way. I mean, you wouldn't walk up to the priest at church and say hey buddy. You just wouldn't do it.
Right.
So I want to see this content continue, and I'd like to see it scripted out in terms of scripting out the informality, so that when somebody goes to record it, they're literally reading it word for word, but they're sounding conversational because they're reading it into the script. So I'll just make it up right now. I'm not saying, hey, this is it, but just I want you to hear, let me read this as if I were giving the commercial the first way and then the second way, okay?
Okay.
Hey, buddy, Matt Hollander here. When you're choosing the right company to work on your home, make sure you don't settle for anyone that is pushy, dishonest, inconsiderate, or relies on sneaky business practices. Holco Exteriors will give you a free, no obligation, no pressure in-home consultation and a written quote for your prospective job. We'll show up on time, every time, and treat your home with the care and respect it deserves. We offer a variety of efficient, top-quality product options to fit your needs. If your home needs windows, doors, siding, or a roof, or a sunroom, click callholco.com. And it sounds pretty announcery, announcer-e. I made that word up. It doesn't really exist. But you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Hey, buddy, Matt Hollander here. Are you thinking about having someone come out to your house, work on windows, siding, doors, roof, maybe even a sunroom? Well, if you do, be careful. There's a lot of companies out there that are pushy, dishonest, or just flat out inconsiderate. They even use sneaky business practices. You know, these are the guys that give home improvement companies a bad name. Not at Holco. We don't treat people like that. We'll give you a free, no obligation, no pressure in-home consultation. We treat you like family. No arm twisting, no fake discounts, none of that stuff. Come on. We respect you more than that. We've got a variety of energy-efficient options that'll fit any need. So give us a call. Or click on callholco.com. Do you see how it's just more conversational?
Yeah, more relaxed, more like you would.
Yeah, and
something that makes you want to listen to it more.
Hey, there we go. Makes you want to listen. It's more inviting. It's more engaging. Okay? So the principle that we're taking out of this is not necessarily the content, but just the conversationalness. And I couldn't have said it any better myself. It makes people want to listen. It reminds me of a quote by Napoleon Hill, the guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich. He says, it is as useless to try to sell a man something until you have first made him want to listen as it would be to command the earth to stop rotating. And you took those words right out of his mouth. You've got to make people want to listen, and that's all we're trying to do here. It's making it a little easier. Let's look at the second one, okay? A lot of companies have won awards, but did you know Holco Exteriors has won every local, regional, national award that matters in the home improvement industry? Locally owned Holco Exteriors is the 2013 Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the Year and Replacement Contractor Magazine Contractor of the Year. We've been recognized by the BBB, Angie's List, Guild, Quality, and many other organizations for our ethics, quality, and professional business practices. Okay, same thing, right? The content is fine. But here's what we're going to find. We're probably, if we go the conversational route, we're going to need to probably use less of this content because we're simply not going to have time for it. And I would rather focus in on a little more detail on some of the ones that that really matter. So, for instance, the small business of the year, that's pretty impressive. Contractor Magazine's Contractor of the Year, those are really impressive awards. Those are ones that are literally not just handed out to any business. I mean, you got to be pretty outstanding.
Right.
Replacement Contractor's Contractor of the Year?
Yes.
I mean, they only give it out once a year to one company. Over 10 years, only 10 companies win that. That's pretty stinking impressive. So what if we came in and said something like this? Hey, buddy, Matt Hollander here. Well, you know what? A lot of companies win awards, and I'd like to talk about their awards, but did you know that some awards actually matter a lot more than others? For instance, at Holco, we won Replacement Contractors. What year was it?
2012, last year.
2000. Okay, it's recent enough we want to use the year.
Yes.
2012 Contractor of the Year. Now, here's what that means. There's over 50,000 contractors in the entire country, and out of all of those, they chose little old Holco right here in, what town again?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Beat out all those other bigger companies, all the smaller, everybody in New York, California, everywhere else. And they named us right here, Holco, the #1 contractor in the entire country. You know what? We've also won the local Small Business of the Year award from the Chamber of Commerce in Chattanooga. And we've also been recognized by the BBB, Angie's List, and other companies that know what matters when it comes to contractors. See, when you say guild quality, nobody knows what it is. I wouldn't even say it.
Okay.
Many other organizations, I probably wouldn't even say it. And, this other organizations for ethics, quality, professional business practices, I think people already get that in the context of what I said, right?
Right. So if you break down and explain the two biggest ones in our case a little bit more than the rest of it, sort of.
I think so. I think it's more interesting. And you notice what I did?
Get us listy.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to take a guess. That if, let's say that, I'm going to go way out in a different ballpark here. Let's say that the American Idol winner was from Chattanooga. I'm going to imagine that the whole town would rally around that winner, and they would sort of have this pride that we produced this champion of this national contest. Is that probably true?
Probably, yes.
The reason I know it's true is because in Dallas, which is a lot bigger town than Chattanooga for sure in terms of people and all that, when there's somebody from American Idol that even makes it to the finalists, the headline news story is always Dallas's own so-and-so, a finalist on American. I'm like, really? There's like 8 million people here. I would assume we could find a singer. But, I think it's an interesting thing to sort of take that local pride in this national thing. Nobody knows what Replacement Contractor Magazine is, but when you give them the context to say there's over 50,000 contractors in the entire United States, we beat out all the biggest and best companies in New York and Texas and California, and you're kind of slapping those states in the face a little bit when you say it in a good-natured way, right?
Right.
And all the people in Chattanooga are sitting there going, holy crap, are you serious? A company right here in Chattanooga did that? That is awesome. And it's sort of this state and local and even city Chattanooga pride starts to come out. But see, that doesn't happen when you read the copy that's on the screen right now, does it?
No, not at all.
It's just sort of this sterilized, antiseptic list of things. But in reality, it's really pretty cool. So we're gonna just look for something interesting. I like to tell stories when I write ads and when I create identities for companies and when I put marketing together, because my experience says that people like stories and they'll be engaged by stories. And it doesn't have to be, once upon a time there was a company named Holco that was named the Contractor of the Year. You don't have to tell stories in this extraordinarily formal story setting. So one more time, just by way of review. Hey, buddy, Matt Hollander here. You know what? There's a lot of companies in this industry, home improvement industry, talk about awards that they've won, and they'll show you their trophies. But you know what? The fact is, some awards really matter a lot more than others. For instance, in 2012, Holco was named the #1 contractor of the year by Replacement Contractor Magazine. Now, here's what that means. Out of over 50,000 different contractors all over the entire country, little old Holco right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, beat out every other company, the biggest companies, smaller companies, and everything in between, from New York and Texas and Florida and California and everywhere else. Holco was named #1 by a national magazine in this industry. That's also the same reason that we won the local small business of the year and other awards from Angie's List, the Better Business Bureau, and other ones that you'd heard of. So if you need something done to your house, whether that's windows, siding, roof, doors, or even a sunroom, give us a call. We'll show you exactly why we were named #1. And hey, we'll show you why we beat all those other states out. And now it's kind of fun, and now they're on our team, right? Wow, hey, yes, we're in this together. I like it.
That makes sense.
I like it. So what you might want to do is grab the recording of this. We'll post it a little bit later, and you can, jot that down or just whatever your notes are. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, by the way, I want to commend you for last time, got on the call, took a little bit of discussion, and I like the way that these focus in. It's really good. Now it's just a matter of making it a little bit more engaging. So you're definitely on the right trail. And I would expect that with the advice from these 2 calls, the first one, make it focused and specific. The second one, make it more engaging, maybe a little bit of story, that you've got a good roadmap to now create the next one. I'd be happy to review it still, but I'd like to see what you come up with on your own for the next one. I'll bet you do a really good job.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've got a good grasp of where we need to go with this now, because we have so many things we can narrow in.
Oh, you know what? You'll never run out. I write commercials monthly for a heating and air conditioning company in Philadelphia. They're a really big company, and they're on lots of radio stations. So we write about 5 or 6 ads a month. We've been doing it for, 18 months now, and I don't know what that is, like 70 or 80 or 90 ads, and just there's always cool stuff to say and neat ways to say it and tell stories. I'm sure you'll do the same thing. So thanks for being on the call today. We'll talk to you, I don't know, maybe next month.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Christian. Okay, I'm going to go back to Chip, see if I can get you on. All right, Chip. All right, Chip. I show that you are on a microphone, Voice over Internet Protocol microphone. I am going to strongly recommend that you dial in via telephone, and when you do that, that you use an audio pin that will be given to you when you dial in, because I can't hear you right now, even though I have you unmuted. So that being said, let's go to Bill Kemp. Now, Bill, I'm about to unmute you here in a second, but before I do that, I'm going to let you know I see that you are on Voice over Internet, so let's see if this works or not. Here we go. Bill, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good, Bill. I got you. You must be on a headset.
I'm on iPad.
iPad, okay. Well, I can hear you. Usually, are you on a speaker or are you on a headset?
Speaker.
Okay, well, usually on a speaker, it's like all kinds of feedback, and it sounds bad, but this sounds great. So kudos to Apple for creating an awesome iPad. How you doing today, Bill?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I understand that you are now the home improvement remodeling guru.
The home exterior guru.
Yes, I've had some good discussion on your identity with Renee, and we've got it all written up. So I'm anxious to see that in production. Let me find what you had sent over to us to look at today. Let's see. There it is. Flyers. Oh, here goes Bill with his inflammatory. I love it. All right. Can you see that on your screen?
Yes. Well, part of
okay.
it.
Our replacement windows suck. That's right. I said it first. Never thought the owner of one of the best window companies in Richmond would ever say that, huh? Well, when you have Kemp install the triple pane Grandura replacement windows in your home, they will suck the life out of those high energy bills. 3 quick reasons our windows will suck the life out of energy bills in the competition. Triple pane. 3 panes are better than 2, 27% more efficient than double pane windows. You don't need triple pane. Well, you're not saving the money, you're spending it. 50% more energy seals around the frames. No more drafts, lifetime warranty. Glass breakage, screens, frames, parts, can't beat that. Call us for your free quote. Here's a random picture of a house, and there's your logo. So tell me about this ad. Is this the final ad, or is this a mock-up, or where are you at with this?
This is just a mock-up. This was done for,
all right, your microphone is now cutting out. You sound like T-Pain and you're auto-tuned right now. Can you say that again?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you hear me? I said you sound like T-Pain. You were being auto-tuned for a minute there. Go ahead.
No. Yeah. This ad was done before we came up with my identity, but I'm looking to have a flyer that I can just distribute to some neighborhoods. So this is just the first draft.
Okay. Yeah, because I think the concept is good. I'm always up for an inflammatory ad. I mean, you know me. I know that you had seen. I don't know. Did you ever use the brain surgery ad?
I did not.
I know that you had seen it. I didn't know if you had actually used it or not. You know, and I'm the guy that wrote the buy one boob, get one free for the breast augmentation surgeon. So coming out and saying our replacement windows suck is interesting. I think that the main thing that this ad still needs is really just some good graphic design. Right now, I think it's lacking. But if it's a mock-up, that's good. I'll let you worry about the graphic design. Or if you want, I can give you some pointers on that as well.
Okay. I mean, whatever helps. I mean, that's why I'm submitting it. So.
Okay. Well, from a graphic design standpoint, I want to see this headline pop out even more. Our replacement windows suck. Then we just got some spacing issues here. That's right, I said it first. We want a little more space before the next paragraph. You're also using, to amend a little bit what I said for the last caller, you're using a very informal tone, and I like informal tone, but you're almost going a little bit too far on the informal, because now you're using partial sentences, which is not necessarily as easy to understand as you might think. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm not saying that people will read this and go, I don't understand it. That's not what I'm saying. But I might just go ahead and make these complete sentences. So, for instance, that's right, comma, I said it first. Never thought the owner of one of the best window companies would ever say that, huh? I feel like it's almost overly conversational. How about this? I'll bet you never thought the owner of one of the best window companies in Richmond would say something like that, comma, huh? And now it just becomes a complete sentence, because what happens in the absence of the complete sentence is that people read a word with, a sentence that starts with the word never as a sentence, not a question.
Okay.
And they don't find out until they get to the end that it's a question, and so it malfunctions in their brain when they read it. Never thought the owner of one of the best window companies in Richmond would ever say that, and it just strikes people a little bit odd. Not unreadable, not, oh my gosh, I don't have any idea what's going on. Clearly, people can figure it out. But I just want to help them make it easier the first time through. So, again, I'll bet you never thought the owner of one of the best window companies in Richmond would say something like that, comma, huh? Okay. Well, when you have Kemp, and you've got lots of comma issues here. I saw a T-shirt that said commas kill, and it had these two sentences on it. It said, let's eat grandma, and then it had right below it said, let's eat, comma, grandma, and then below it said commas kill.
Right.
So, you're kind of eating grandma right here instead of, eating with grandma. Okay. And you've done it on enough places. Understand what punctuation does in printed format. It tells people conversationally the pacing and pausing that should be applied to the written word. So if you don't have that, it causes people to read it with unnatural pacing and pauses. So, for instance, that's right, I said it first. That's not how you want that read. You want it read like this. That's right, I said it first. There's a pause after that's right. So we put the comma in there.
Okay. I'll
bet you never thought the owner of one of the best window companies in Richmond would ever say that, comma, huh. Well, comma. Again, it's pacing and pausing that it's communicating. And without it, people read it all running together, and it sounds unnatural in their mind, okay?
Okay.
Well, when you have Kemp install the triple pane Grandeur replacement window in your home, I might even consider throwing the word Grandeur out. I know it's your brand, and I know you're proud of it, but nobody's ever heard of it, and it's such a weird word that it causes people to trip a little bit.
Right.
I look at it, and it looks like something that maybe I should know, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
Right.
So I might change that next paragraph to just say, when you have Kemp install the triple pane replacement window in your home, they will suck the life out of your high energy bills. 3 quick reasons our windows will suck the life out of your energy bills and the competition. Let me help you write this. Again, this is all just readability stuff. None of this is content related, really. 3 quick reasons our windows Now, you've got something odd going on here. You've got a mixture of title case and sentence case going on here. You've got some of the letters capitalized and some of them not capitalized, but there seems to be no rhyme or reason as to which is which. So it becomes, again, minorly confusing. Now, Bill, here's what I want you to hear me say on this loud and clear. Any single instance of these issues, the commas and the, all this stuff, the word grand juror, none of these things individually are going to cause much problem on this ad. Collectively, when you start layering in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these little things, it starts to feel really bumpy as people read it.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yep.
3 quick reasons our windows will suck the life out of, right? You missed the word out of your high energy bills, ... and the competition. Now, ... is just another punctuation. It's called an ellipsis that's there to help us understand as a reader what the pacing and pausing is. So let me read this 2 different ways. 3 quick reasons our windows will suck the life out of high energy bills in the competition. Versus 3 quick reasons our windows will suck the life out of high energy bills and the competition. You see how that pause makes a big difference in the meaning?
Yep.
So we don't want to eat grandma here. That ellipsis gives us more emphasis on the competition. 3 quick reasons our windows will suck the life out of high energy bills, ... and the competition.
Gotcha.
Number 1, triple pane windows. Instead of we always say, let's make this more powerful. It's a fact. So I just took it from an opinion. We always say that's an opinion. That's a way to say here's our opinion, right?
Yep.
Instead of we always say it's a fact. 3 panes are better than 2. And I get rid of the quotation marks because it's not something you've said. It's just now we're just stating a fact as if it's incontrovertible. Why would anybody disagree with this? Triple pane windows. It's a fact. 3 panes are better than 2 by the tune of 27% more efficient than, you see, we got this word efficient is capitalized mysteriously for no reason, than double pane windows. And now you've also got this not complete sentence. Think you don't need triple pane windows? If you think you don't need triple pane windows, this is just, you've got a bunch of sentence fragments here. And again, not any single instance of this is going to doom this piece, but now, I think we're literally up to about 10 instances before we've gotten halfway down the page, and it's just not as readable. Triple pane windows, it's a fact, : 3 panes are better than 2, ... by the, I don't think the phrase is by the tune, to the tune of 27% more efficient than double pane windows, period. If you think you don't need triple pane windows, I don't even really understand what this is saying. If you think you don't need triple pane windows, how about this? It's a fact. If you think you don't want triple pane windows because you'll save money, you're really going to be spending it in energy bills. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Right.
So I just want to say it a little more clearly.
Okay.
50% more energy seals, : Now, what I would recommend is that on your headers, the bold stuff, 50% more energy seals, that you use title case, capital letters, okay? 50% more energy seals, : More seals, 3 panes, means more seals around the frames than average windows, which means no more drafts. Again, we've got this curiously capitalized no more drafts.
Right.
Okay? Lifetime warranty, : not just the typical warranty, but a warranty that covers everything, including glass breakage, screens, frames, and parts. Do you charge a trip charge?
No.
Say it.
Okay.
No trip charge ever. You can't beat that. Okay, so here's what we've done. We've taken your content, we've made it more readable, we've added a little bit here and there, we've subtracted a little bit here and there, we've changed the formatting and the punctuation here and there, and it just becomes more powerful. So I like where you're going. I like the suck to get people's attention. But all of these little things will make a huge difference on a piece like this.
Okay.
Okay. And then down here, You know, the identity is based on this idea that you're guru, but that guru, you know, there's a chicken and an egg here, and the reality is you're the guru, and that's why we made the identity based on the guru topic, right?
Yep.
So you didn't have to wait around for us to create an identity with the guru for you to start to integrate that. So I would integrate that, you know, wherever you can. So on something like this, instead of this random picture of this house,
yep,
you know, one thing you might want to do, you might want to invest a little bit of money in creating a logo for the replacement. What do you call yourself? What kind of guru? Replacement contractor guru or replacement?
The home exterior guru.
Okay, I'm sorry. I knew it was something. I just couldn't put my finger on it. So I apologize. Home exterior guru. You may want to create a secondary logo.
I have one.
Okay, good. And I would put that on here.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, it doesn't surprise me that you have one already. So I might throw that on there. I don't think anybody really needs to see this picture of this house. It's not really adding anything, but to brand yourself as this guru and for them to see that, I think, is very interesting.
Okay.
The other thing you may want to do is you may want to create an offer and put it on here. So here's some interesting offers. How about triple pane for the price of double? Now, Bill, I'm not saying, hey, use this, and I'm not saying that you had never thought of that, or maybe you don't want to use that for some specific reason, and that's fine. But I think it would be interesting if you had, what we've done so far is we've built a case that says this is why you want triple pane. Triple pane is better. And now let's give them some kind of an offer. And I think it's a very interesting offer to offer triple pane for the price of double. To me, that's an interesting offer. There's an inherent understood value. People are going to inherently understand. We've told them triple pane is better. They're going to understand that triple pane is more expensive because obviously something with 3 panes of glass is going to be more expensive than 2 panes of glass. And I'm going to assume that you have the ability to work your numbers so that you can show a triple pane window for the price of a double pane window.
Right.
So, you know, maybe you put something like that on here, limited time, you know, 4th of July special, triple pane for the price of double pane. Normally it's, you know, $150 more per window. During this sale, it's not. I think you'll get more calls off of an offer.
Okay.
Those are some of my suggestions for this.
Cool.
Any other questions on this?
No.
All right, Bill, as usual, it's a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Rich.
All right. And thanks again, Bill. And Chip, I see that you are now on a phone. Chip, are you with me?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you crystal clear. Thank you for,
Yay.
you know, I don't know what happened, and I don't know if it's our system's fault or you just hadn't, you know, pushed the right button or whatever, but I'm grateful that you were able to work through that and get on. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So my question is on the website you guys are helping us redo, the part where you recommend putting the names of customers with their phone numbers and just sort of get into that procedure a little bit more. First of all, I take it you feel strongly about doing that. And then secondly,
well,
is that...
Here's why I feel strongly about it. I like to take a step back and just think for a minute about why is somebody even on my website? Okay, I'm saying this as if I'm you. I'm not talking about my website, MYM. I'm talking about your website. Why would somebody even be on this site in the first place? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Reason number one is that they've seen your marketing somewhere and it's driven them to your website. Maybe they heard you in an ad somewhere or saw your flyer or somebody told them about you, whatever it was. Something that they saw externally that made them want to go to your website. Or somebody's doing a search online and they see you as one of the results that pops up. In both of these scenarios, it's pretty likely you've got somebody who's interested in buying the products that you sell, but probably is not all that familiar with your company. Now, there's clearly going to be exceptions of somebody that knows you very well and they go to your website because they want to find your phone number or they bought from you 2 years ago and now they want to buy something else from you. But the majority are people that really don't know you that well. Would you agree with that premise?
Yes.
given that premise, and again, this is based on that premise, so it's important that not just you, Chip, but others who are listening on this call agree with that premise. We've got to look at it and say, well, what can we do to show them that we're the right company that they should buy from? And of course, the identity is a huge part of that, and the way that the website looks and feels and navigates, and all these other issues that are website related. But here's what I'm looking at. What can I say to somebody to give them proof that we do what we say in this identity? All these wonderful things that we're talking about, what can we say to prove it to them? And so we've got online reviews, and Chip, I know that you're a member of Guild Quality, so that's a way that you can show some people what others have thought about you. I like this idea of the reference because it's so radical. It's so, nobody does it. I mean, who gives out references? And here's what it communicates to this, what I call uninitiated web visitor. Uninitiated meaning they really don't know anything about you. They have no real frame of reference for who you are, what you do. And what you're saying to them is, not only do we have customers, not only do we have references, not only are they available to you, but I'm willing to give them to you, a person that I don't know, a person that can take them and do anything you want with them. I'm willing to give them to you because, number one, I'm that kind of a company that's open and transparent, and number two, I'm that confident that these people are going to be helpful to you. I'm respecting you as a prospective customer, giving you this opportunity to investigate me to the extent that you feel like you want and need to before engaging me in a sales dialogue, which admittedly, I'm still speaking as if I'm your website, admittedly can be very uncomfortable. So take a typical website, not an MYM identity kind of a website. Here's what they find when they see it. Okay, here's a company that sells the products that we want. And they click around and they go, okay, they have what we want. And it really doesn't usually say much more than that. Oh, here's some references, or excuse me, here's some reviews on something called Guild Quality. That's good. But people want to be as sure as possible before they ever pick up the phone and call. And this is really symptomatic of where we're at in the history of, I'm not trying to sound overly dramatic here, Chip, but it's true. This is where we sit in the history of the internet, in the history of the economic fortunes of our country. Here's what I mean specifically by that. We had a pretty strong recession in 2008, 7, 8, and 9. People became a little more or a lot more restrictive with how they spend their money. So they want to research things and find things out, especially when it's something big and unfamiliar to them like Windows. And they want to research more than they used to, and websites are a great place to research. Also, the internet has given us so much more access more quickly to information than ever before. And I mean this not just generically the internet in general. I mean that in the last 5 years, the advent of smartphones, tablets, and this is one that people don't really, people go, okay, well, iPhones and iPads, I get that. But wireless internet technology has taken the computer from something that sat on somebody's desk and had to be sort of cumbersomely logged onto to get on the internet. It's taken it and it's put it in the palm of people's hands. And it's empowered people to have access instantly, anytime, anywhere, any place to information. And it's changed the way people interface with information, i.e., when it comes to buying Windows, they're a lot more likely to check it out online than they used to be, even 3 years ago, even 5 years ago. Not that they wouldn't check it out online before, but now that information is instantly accessible. I've got an iPhone in my hand right here. I've got access to the entire planet in, 4 ounces or something like that, and it's in my pocket all day, every day. When I go to bed at night, it's sitting next to my bed. I mean, it's insane. So all of that to say, I want to give the prospect as much ability to draw conclusions that I'm the company that they want to do business with before they ever feel the need to talk to me, because it's empowering them with the type of information, the type of power that they want and that they crave. So that being said, I strongly recommend it, yes. Number two, there's always privacy and annoyance factors that are concerns. Here's my recommendations on that. First of all, you don't want to put anybody on there that hasn't given you explicit permission to do so. That just makes common sense, okay? How do you obtain that permission? You simply ask them. Send them an email. Have a form that they can fill out. I think you, and Chip, when I say you, I don't necessarily mean you personally. I mean you, anybody who's listening to this call. I think you will find that people are actually much more open and willing to take those kinds of calls than you think they are. And for every one that says they don't want to, you'll find another one that says, yeah, that would be fine. As a courtesy to them, you'll want to frequently rotate the list so that it's not overburdening. But here's what you'll also find. The majority of the people that call your references will not actually be web surfers that just happen on your site. There'll be people that happen on your site, see that these references are available, are impressed by that, see what your identity is, see your online reviews, see your photographs, see all the other wonderful things on your website, become impressed. They call you just like they would normally. They engage with you in a sales dialogue, and then at a point later is when they'll actually pick up the phone and call those people. Now, I'm not saying that nobody will ever call your references cold when they first visited your website, because surely some will, but the majority won't. So the net effect is that the people on your list won't actually get a lot more calls than they would if you introduce this list later on in the sales process. But those people that are searching will be far more impressed by the fact that you allowed this to be out there. They'll reciprocate that. You've given them information. They're going to hold that in higher esteem. One of the things that people are concerned about is privacy. A couple notes. We have the ability via putting these on a PDF document instead of a web page, and there's also code that we can put on that page that tells the internet spiders to not index that page. So if you've got a customer named Dave Anderson who's on your reference list, we'll tell Google not to index that page. So later on, if somebody is Googling Dave Anderson in Phoenix, Arizona, they won't find this page with them as a reference, okay? Because we can tell Google not to index it. Number two, people have concerns with abuse. Well, if I put this on my website, what if somebody abuses it? And while the possibility technically exists that it could be abused, I think it's actually a very remote chance. Because here's the thing, how would it be abused? And I ask that question to people all the time. I'm not saying, hey, you've got that objection, Chip. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But when people have that objection, I say, well, how would it be abused? And the reality is there's not really a very good answer. Your competitors could find that list. What are they going to do with it? Call your customers that you already sold to and say, hey, you know, Chip over at Freelite, those guys are a bunch of jokers. They would sound like fools if they called your customers and said that. Right. And if a prospect gets it, what are they going to do? Are they going to call these and like prank call them, or call them in the middle of the night just to upset them? I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but the likelihood of that is extraordinarily slim. Right. Now, next.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, do you recommend giving us something response after the fact, like a Starbucks coupon or anything for their willingness to do it?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it however you want. Hey, as a token of our appreciation, we'd love to give you a $10 Starbucks gift card. Hey, look, we know that doesn't compensate for your time. We're not saying it does, but it's just a token of our appreciation.
And you say it up front or just after they've agreed?
Either way, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
Hey, John, I want you to know that if you get too many calls or you get calls that are uncomfortable or anything that you don't like, just reach out to us. We'll take you off the list. It's not a big deal. Hey, John, I also want you to know that we're going to rotate this list. So if you seem to be getting a few calls and you might feel like, well, it's okay, but you start getting kind of to the point of uncomfortable, it's probably going to change soon because we're going to rotate this list every once in a while. You know, and what you also may want to do is you may want to put a fake reference on there, not because we're trying to be dishonest, not because we're trying to be, you know, whatever, but just so you can monitor it, okay? So maybe you put a fake reference on there high on the list, second or third on the list, and you get a Google number, Google Voice number. I don't know if you know what this is, but you can go on, if you have a Google account, you can go in and find something called Google Voice. They'll assign you an internet-based phone number that you can actually have people call and have it ring to your cell phone or any other number, but let's just say your cell phone. So let's say you put a reference name on there for, you know, Dave Simon of Phoenix, Arizona. Here's his phone number, and it's actually your Google Voice number. Then when people call it, of course, you don't want to fake like you're this person. What you'd want to do is be very upfront with them when they call, and you say, hey, they would say, hey, you know, I'm calling, I got this name from your list, and you would want to say, hey, you know what, this is Chip over at Freelight. Just so you know, out of this list, there's 20 references. We put this one for Dave Simon on there just so we can keep tabs of how many calls our references are getting so that we can adjust and rotate the list if possible. Hey, I want to thank you for calling our references, and feel free to call anyone else. I guarantee you they're all good references. But this is just sort of a way for us to monitor. So I'll let you go. Don't try to sell them then. That would be, you know, inappropriate, I feel. But you can actually do that so you can keep a feel for how many calls are coming in without having to rely on, you know, calling your actual references. Say, hey, how many reference calls are you getting? And I would put your fake name and number high on that list, okay?
Right, right.
It's really easy to set up, and in my opinion, it's very ethical to have this fake name on there as long as you disclose it when they call and say, hey, you know what, we put this on there just for quality control. We want to see how many calls so that we can protect the other people from getting too many. And I think any reasonable person will hear that and say, hey, I totally understand, not a problem.
Right.
And if they're not reasonable, you know, then they can kiss your foot.
Right. Okay, well, that makes sense. And then the same for the Radius mailings, permission to use their address for our Radius mailings.
Yeah, you know, what I really recommend on that, Chip, is that you go to your customer on the very front end and say, hey, you know, we'll give you some kind of an incentive if you participate in this program. One of the things that you have to agree to is that we're going to send this out to your neighbors. We're going to use your name and your address. That's uncomfortable. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But, you know, we're not going to give you this incentive either.
Right. Okay. Great. That makes sense.
Yeah, you know what, Chip? Here's what I found in life and in this particular case is just being open and upfront with people.
Oh, absolutely.
People respond really, really well.
Yep.
And you know, do it with integrity. So hey, you know what? Yep. We'll give you a little bit of an incentive. Hey, John, it's not a big incentive, but you know what? If you like what we do, we'd like for you to be someone that would be willing to tell people about it. Now, here's how you would tell them about it. You know, we want you to put this sign out in your yard, and we want you to put these flyers in the sign in there, and we'll send out these letters to your neighbor. Now, you don't have to do anything. We'll actually do all the work, but you know what? It might spark a few calls. People might call you and ask, would you be willing to take those calls?
Right.
And the majority of people would say, well, you know what? Yeah, because here's what they're thinking. They're thinking, well, if you really do a good job, then I'd be happy to tell them. And you know what? If you suck, you know, they can call me on that too, and I'll tell them you suck.
Right. Sure. And in their minds, it's more incentive for us to do a good job.
Yeah. So I think, and you know what? For every odd person that says, hey, you know, I really don't want to do that, you probably have 10 that say, hey, that sounds great.
Sure.
Because here's what I found, Chip. This goes to the reference thing and to the proximity marketing thing. It's so rare that somebody gets asked to share their opinion. It really is. Why do you think I hold these Tuesday morning ad clinics? It's just purely an ego stroke. I want people calling me and asking me my opinion. I set it up that way. I'm joking, sort of, not really. But people are asked for their opinion so rarely that when you give them an opportunity to have a forum, they a lot of times will jump at the chance. So
sure. Good.
So anyway, there you go.
That helps a lot. Thank you.
All right, Chip. Great talking to you again, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
All right, and we've got one more submission today. John. John. Let's see if I can find John on here. Well, I don't see him. Let me scroll through my names here. No, almost all of these people. You know what? John is not on today. So I guess we will punt. Let me just check my list one more time and see if any of these names could possibly be somebody else. That's not, no. I think we're John-less today. John, if you are there, hit the raise hand button to identify who you're posing as, and I'll unmute you, but I don't think I see on there. Okay. Well, that being the case, we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. And like I said, we'll be off next week, but we do have one more call later this week on Thursday. We have another webinar called, oh gosh, what is it called? Let me pull it up here. It's called the Marketing Quick Picks call. This is one of my favorite calls because here's what I do. I just give you a bunch of random things that are interesting on the topic of marketing. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. So we'll talk to you then. Thanks so much. See you later. Bye-bye.